What's up gamers, it's TheSaiyan here. Today I'm gonna show you how to build teams in Dragon Ball Legends. Before I get into the video, I'd kindly ask you to watch until the end so you make sure you understand everything I'm talking about and you know at the end of this video how to properly build a team. If you're a new player, this is gonna help you a lot. And yeah, if you like it, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and yeah, let's continue. So first thing you wanna do is actually go into the menu and click the characters tab, and you're gonna get to this page you see right here. So first thing you wanna do is actually give your team a name. This is not mandatory, but I always do that. It helps just so you know exactly what you wanna build. And yeah, when you browse through your teams, you can just look at the name and be like, oh, I'm looking for this team. If you have like a very specific team build, then you can easily find that by the name. So for this video, I'm actually gonna build a Fusion Warriors team. So I'm gonna name it Fusion. Change. And there you have it. That's the name. Now you need to go into party formation. Okay, first off, let me talk about the leader slot. This is something not too old, and maybe some players don't know about this or what that means. Basically, the leader slot allows you to put whatever character you want on whatever team you want. And when you bring that leader character into a match, basically all of their abilities will be transferred to the whole team, and the whole team ability will be transferred to that unit. Basically, let's say if you want to put Frieza on a Saiyan team, you can do that with the leader slot. If you want to put, I don't know, Broly on regeneration, you can do that because of the leader slot. But I'll explain more about this when we get to that. And I want to continue right now talking about the fact that you need to focus on building a team around tags or episodes. So for the purpose of this video, because I'm building fusions, I'm gonna actually go to filter, and here you can sort out characters by sparking, extreme, ultra, tiers for the boost system in PvP, colors, the battle style, all sorts of stuff, Zenkai, Legends Limited. But what you actually want to filter, let's say you want to build a God Key team, you're gonna go here to characters, look for God Key, and press God Key, OK, and you're gonna see every single God Key unit that you own. Then, for me, as I said, I'm gonna build fusions, so I'm gonna look for Fusion Warriors, press OK, and here I'm gonna get all the fusion characters that are in the game and I own. You can also build teams based on episode. So basically, I don't know, let's say Frieza Saga is a pretty good episode that has like a lot of characters. Some episodes don't really have a lot of characters or don't have buffs going around for that episode. But Frieza Saga, for example, has like a lot of units. And I think this guy, he actually buffs the episode. Let me check. Yeah, so he buffs TheSaiyan or episode Frieza Saga. And there's like a lot of units on Frieza Saga that actually buff the Frieza Saga. But yeah, again, it depends what you want to build. You can look through here, Future Trunks Saga S, click on that, you'll see everyone from that episode, okay? But mostly, like 90% of the times, you're gonna focus on tags, and I'm gonna go back to tags, select Fusion Warriors, and go from there. Okay, so every single character has like a different battle style. There are melee types, range types, support types, and defense types. So basically, melee means they want to do strike damage. Ranged, they want to do blast damage. Support, they're gonna give buffs to the whole team or debuffs to the enemy team. And defensive, they're basically tanky. They're gonna take a lot of hits and they're gonna have a lot of health and all that. So the first thing you want to decide is if you want to actually build a melee type or a range type team. This is going to help because, for example, if I build a melee type team, I want to do strikes, yeah, because that's going to do the most damage. So then all of the characters I'm taking into battle, if they are melee type, they're probably going to hold 2 strikes in hand or more. What that means, basically, if you go on a character, you see right here, he's a melee type. And if I go down here, you can see arts cards held, it's 2 strikes. If you have a range type, it might hold 2 blasts. Some units hold 1 strike, 1 blast, some units hold green cards, but yeah, that doesn't matter. What matters is the best way to build a team is actually focus on melee or strike. Of course, you can do all sorts of combinations based on the buffs you have and all that, but I think this is pretty important. So right now I'm gonna focus on building a melee type team. So the first unit is already in there. You wanna use like the best units you have in terms of stars and also the Z ability, so you can buff the whole team properly. If you wanna see where a character has its Z ability, you're gonna go to show details, ability, and here is Z ability. This changes depending on how many stars you have. At 3 stars you get a better Z ability, at 6 stars, and then at 14 stars. So right now I have Z ability 3, which is the Z ability that I get from 6 stars up until 14. And you can see here he's buffing Super Saiyan, special move damage, and then he's buffing Fusion Warriors and TheSaiyan, and he's buffing base strike attack, which is good because that's what we want for a melee type team, okay? You wanna have strike buffs as much as possible, and yeah, that's how you wanna basically focus your Z abilities, yeah? A really easy way to do that if you don't know which character buffs what is actually if you go into filter, scroll down to Z/Zenkai Ability, and here at effect selection you can click here base strike damage, click OK, and now it's gonna give me all the Fusion Warriors that actually buff strike damage, yeah? So for example, I wanna have Gogeta, Ultra Gogeta is one of my main units on the team. Then you wanna first decide which units you want on your team that you bring in the battle. You can build a team focused around 3 units that you're always gonna bring into battle, or you can build it around 5 or 6 different units so you can bring anyone into battle at any time. But most people actually focus on the 3 main units and then use the 3 other units to actually buff those units as much as possible. And that's what we're gonna do in this video. So I'm gonna put Ultra Gogeta, I'm gonna put Super Vegito because he's a really good Zenkai. Try and use your best units, obviously. I mean, not just put, I don't know, let's say I'm gonna put this guy and you're not gonna bring this guy into battle, he's more of a bench unit, yeah? So basically, use your best units. Most of the times the most recent ones are good units and the most recent Zenkais. But that does not apply to everything, so don't take that as a rule. But still, a lot of time, like Ultra Gogeta is quite new. Super Vegito, he's like not the newest LF Zenkai, but he's the second newest, basically. And yeah, now I have those guys, and I know that I have a defense type that I want to bring, so I'm gonna just reset this. So I still have just Fusion Warriors, so I can see them all. And Super Saiyan for Gogeta is a great unit. I think he's still Z tier. This guy is not a melee type, he's actually a defense type, but if you have either a melee type or a range type team, you can put defensive and support on any of them. Those are just like units that can go with any other unit, you know? But this guy is also a really good damage dealer. If you look at his stats, his stats are more strike oriented than blast, so he works really well on this team. Plus he also has like blast armor on his strikes, so you also wanna do strikes with him. So this is my main lineup right now. Those are the 3 I'm gonna bring into battle. Sometimes you wanna also consider maybe a 4th unit because of the meta. Let's say when we had like mono purple meta, you'd definitely wanna have a yellow that you can bring in battle. That was like 100% the deal. And yeah, right now let's say the meta is not really like color based, so I think right now those 3 units are good. So now I'm gonna try and focus on the Z abilities overall, yeah? So I know that Majub, he's 14 stars, he's not super old, so he's gonna have like a really good Z ability, but to make sure I'm gonna go into details, ability, and check this, 35% to Fusion Warriors or Attack GT base strike and blast attack. So he's giving 35% to both offenses, which is always really good. and he's giving an extra 18% to strike defense, to tag fusion and GT, which is Super Saiyan for Gogeta. So Maju, but 14 stars is a great bench unit, plus a great unit that you can bring into battle in case you need a yellow. So I'm gonna put this guy in. And now what you can also do, if you like, let's say you're happy with this, you can also use Zenkai buffs in case you wanna buff a unit. Like, if you don't know what Zenkai buffs are, basically if you go on a Zenkai unit, so besides the Z ability, down here they have a Zenkai ability. So this usually is targeted at a tag and a color. For example, for the Super Gogeta, he buffs red Fusion Warriors. He's not gonna help my team right now because I don't have any red Fusion Warriors on my main team. This is just an example, but the buffs they give from Zenkai abilities are pretty huge. He gives 40% to base strike attack, 35% to base blast attack, 40% to strike defense, and 35% to blast defense. So he's giving a lot of buffs, plus this first Z ability. So usually when you Zenkai buff, that Zenkai buff only applies to one unit or two, depending on, like, for me, in this example, it's not gonna buff everyone, it's just gonna buff one unit because I have 3 different colors. But if you have, like, let's say 3 red Fusion Warriors up there, all of them are gonna receive that Zenkai buff. But for example, I can Zenkai buff with my Fusion Warriors, I can only Zenkai buff Super Saiyan for Gogeta with this guy. Right now this guy is not fully maxed out for me, and in terms of Zenkai, so he's not giving everything he can. So that's his max output, and he's only giving like 5% less on each. But I'm not gonna use the Zenkai buff in this case, I'm just telling you that if you want a Zenkai buff, you can do that, okay? A lot of the times you also wanna try and put a health buffer on your team, because it really helps to have that extra health for each unit. In this case, for Fusion Warriors, Gotenks is that unit that's gonna buff your health. At 14 stars, he's giving, I think, 20%? Yeah, 20% is not a huge number, I've seen better, but this is the best you got for Fusion Warriors. So you wanna have him there in the back. And right now we got one extra slot left, so we can either put, like, let's say a red color, this guy. Let's say you can put this guy on the team, just if you want to have like a full color wheel, but I don't really feel like it's needed in my case right now. I don't feel like I need a red. So my second option would be actually to look through the box of my Fusion Warriors and see which other character can buff Fusion Warriors with some really good percentages. But I know for a fact that in my case, right now with what I have, I wouldn't put anyone else from here. But if you look up top, all of my 3 characters are Saiyan, yeah? So that means I can also use the Saiyan tag to actually buff those 3 guys. So put a unit that's actually buffing Saiyans. And with this one, we can actually use, where is he? This guy. Yeah, so we can use Namek Goku for 2 reasons. First off, he's gonna buff all my 3 top units because he's buffing 30% to base strike and blast attack to tag Saiyan. So all of them are gonna get that. Plus, with the Zenkai ability, we're also gonna buff Ultra Gogeta. So my Ultra Gogeta, which is basically my strongest unit on the team, is also gonna get all of these buffs you see right here. 35% to strike attack and strike defense, and 40% to blast attack and blast defense. So this is a really great option to have on this kind of setup, okay? But depending on what team you're building, you need to think about who you want to buff, and you need to take in consideration that you have to buff everyone to have like the most effective type of Z ability going around. Okay, and besides all the Z abilities and Zenkai buffs, since we got Ultra units, I'm gonna show you right now, we also have Ultra abilities. What that means is, so besides his Z ability, you can see right here it's in a different color, it's called Ultra ability. So what this does, basically if you have this character in the leader slot, he gets 30% to damage inflicted and 30% to key recovery. That means you can use this unit on any single team that you want. As long as he's in the leader slot, he's gonna get those buffs. If he's not in the leader slot, he's gonna get 5% to same damage inflicted and key recovery for each battle member. So basically if I use him with a full Fusion Warriors team, I'm still gonna get the same buffs. But if I use him on a team like, let's say, Saiyans, and they're not Fusion Warriors, and I don't put him in the leader slot, he's not gonna get all of this. He's just gonna get 5% for himself. Or if you have 2 fusions, he's gonna get 10%. If you have 3 fusions, he's gonna get 15%. That's how those abilities works. But if you look like, I don't know, the first Ultra we got, yeah? So this guy is free to play. So his Ultra ability does not include the leader slot option. So basically for this unit to work best, you have to have him with Saiyans on the team. This is pretty easy because he wants to be on a Saiyan team. But for example, this Vegeta, he doesn't have that ability with the Saiyan tag, he has it with the episode Frieza Saga Z. So basically for this Vegeta to pick out his damage, you have to use him on a Frieza Saga Z team. Okay? But yeah, don't think too much about the Ultra abilities at the moment because they're quite new, there's like very little of them. And in time, when we get more, we're actually gonna see them evolve and get better and all sorts of stuff. But right now your main focus should be on the Z abilities and Zenkai buffs because those are like the most important. And mainly if you have like Ultra Gogeta or Ultra Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku, you wanna use them on the leader slot on whatever team you put them because that way they're just gonna get that extra buff. Okay, so this is basically how you build a team with multiple colors. As I said, you can go for a full color wheel, or you can just go for 3 or 4 colors, but you want to make sure those colors synergize. What that means is basically if you have a blue unit, yeah, like I have Ultra Gogeta, blue is weak against green, so you want to take a unit that's actually gonna be strong against green. So that would be Super Vegito. So for example, if I have Ultra Gogeta in the match and then the new Golden Frieza, yeah, he's green. So the new Golden Frieza is on the enemy's team and he wants to attack my Ultra Gogeta, then I can switch into my Super Vegito and then his Golden Frieza is gonna be type disadvantage and my Super Vegito is gonna be type advantage. So you wanna kind of have like units that back each other out. That back each other up. So in case you get into a sticky spot, you can just switch your element and have advantage again. Okay, so another thing you can do in some metas with some units and some tags, it works to just build a team based on 2 colors. What that means is, I'm gonna show you right now an example. I have this Godki team which is green, green, yellow. Basically my 2 strongest units are green, green, and then we have a yellow, so in case the enemy has a purple, I can bring in that yellow and protect my 2 greens. You can do this with every single color. We have 5 combinations for that. So we have yellow, yellow, blue. That blue is gonna protect my yellows from red. We have green, green, yellow, blue, blue, purple, 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 red. That one is hard to say. And lastly, we have red, red, green. You don't really see red, red, green because we don't have any like red dominant units right now. The colors you see most often are green, green, yellow, 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 blue, and blue, blue, purple. Those are the 3 combinations that you see a lot in the meta. I can also show you some teams. For example, this Godki team is one example. And because I'm using 3 colors and I know I'm gonna bring those 3 colors every single match, that means I can use the other slots to Zenkai buffs those colors, yeah? So right now this is a Godki team, so I have this Vegeta that buffs my Gogeta blue, and I have this Beerus that Zenkai buffs both green units, Zamasu and Vegeta. And because Vegeta is a Zenkai unit, he's also gonna give Zenkai buffs to himself and to the Zamasu. This is a really great setup. There is a better one, but I don't have all the units. For example, instead of Gogeta Blue, you can use Ultra Kaioken Goku, and instead of Zamasu, you can use Vados, because Vados is a support unit, so she's gonna help. In my case, I'm using 2 melee type units. It's the Vegeta, his melee type, and Gogeta, his melee type, so they wanna do strike damage. And then Zamasu is defense type, so basically he's a tank. He's the one that you wanna get out there when the enemy combos you, so he can take a lot of hits. And then besides the Zenkai buffs, we have this Goku, which is one of the best bench units you can have for God Key, because he's giving you health. As I said on my previous team, you want to have health buffs, and besides the health buff, he's also giving base critical. So yeah, he's actually double buffing health and critical for every God Key unit. So this unit is amazing. Honestly, this unit is amazing to have as bench. He's no good to bring in battles, don't do that. He's like terrible in battle, but as a bench unit, he's amazing. Okay, here you can see another example of of a team with two colors. We have blue, blue, purple. Basically, we have Bardock, the Super Saiyan. If you didn't know, Bardock is like a staple on the Super Saiyan team, and I think he's the only reason that this team actually exists, because he's offering critical buffs for every Super Saiyan when he switches out. So that means like he gives you a really big percentage of chance to actually do a ton of damage with your other Super Saiyans. And this color, this was like the top team at some point, because Ultra Gogeta was super oppressive. Super Vegito just got his Zenkai, so he was like Z tier, and then Bardock would actually buff those two to hell, so you do a lot of damage with this team. But yeah, basically you have again blue, blue, purple. So if you fought a green unit, then your blue units would be disadvantaged, but you would have the purple unit to back them up and be advantage against that unit. Okay, and there is like one last kind of option you can do. It's actually monocolors team, though you don't really see those often. It's like very, very rarely when they appear in the meta. But when Goku and Vegeta tag unit released, basically because they were able to switch advantage. Basically, if you fought a yellow, you would actually take advantage over yellow when you swap into Vegeta. So that's when the team you see on the screen, mono purple, appeared basically. So again, Super Vegito, he was like brand new as a Zenkai. Also him in the leader slot, he would be able to share his Z ability with everyone and get the Z ability from everyone. Then you had Goku and Vegeta tag unit, which were like literally broken at some point because they had the feature boost and they had that swapping mechanic, and they have a lot of Zenkai buffs on this team. That's the advantage of going for a mono color, because we have like triple Zenkai buffs for this guy, for this Vegeta, also triple Zenkai buffs. And this guy would only get 2, or you can use Counter Vegeta if you have him instead of this Zamasu, and you'd get triple Zenkai buffs for everyone. But still, like a lot of combinations of mono purple with the bench, so you can get a lot of buffs. And plus, this Vegeta is a support unit. Even though it says range type, he supports. He also has support. So basically, having this Vegeta with those two, giving them support, and with all the Zenkai buffs and the ability to actually swap from disadvantage to advantage, really made this team super dominant. And at some point, all you saw in the meta was mono purple. So there's also that option, but this is like, as I said, it doesn't happen too often. So yeah, I would still stick to building normal teams for now. Okay, so we're back at our Fusion Warriors team. This is the team we started with. Everything I told you besides that is basically extra information for some special kind of like teams that you can build, depending, as I said, on the meta, on the new units, all that. But yeah, basically probably like 90% of the time you're gonna see builds like this one, where you actually have 3 or 4 main units you want to bring into battle. They're all kind of like the same tag, and the other units are either health buff, a Zenkai buff. In our case, we have a Zenkai buff, we have a buff for the whole team, and we have a health buff. So that's really good. This team is like super strong. And the next step right now would be, after you built your team, you checked all of your Z abilities, everything looks good. You can see here the power level and the ability bonus. Usually this depends on like when you have equipments on. I'm gonna browse through some of my teams so you can see like different numbers. This team, for example, it has over 4000 ability bonus. That's good. This team, never mind that. This team is basically the same team you saw, but we have future Gohan in the leader slot. So with the leader slot, we can actually use him on this team because he's like a really good support. So he would amp up the other 2 units a lot. But this team, because he's in the leader slot, unless you actually go into battle and select every unit, it's not gonna show you the full ability bonus, so that's why on this team it's so low. Here I have a Super Saiyan team. This one is blue, blue, yellow. Normally it would be yellow, yellow, blue, but in this case I just wanted to buff those two guys, the Gogeta and the Trunks, with Bardock, and we have again almost 4000 ability bonus. This team could have higher ability bonus, but again it all depends on like the abilities and the equips you have. Okay, so now that you're happy with the units you have on the team, the bench, the main units, everything, what you need to do is actually put equips on each unit on every single slot. Okay, so you go into party formation, and once you click on a unit, you're gonna see those 3 slots down here. It's 1, 2 and 3. So what you can do, if you already have farmed up your equipments and you know what equipments you have and like you know which ones are good, you can just go ahead and select those. But if you're not sure what you want to do with those equipments and what's best for each unit, you have 2 options. You can either look here at the recommended. Most of the times these will give you like a good idea of what equipments you can use. In the recommended, basically it shows you what a lot of top players are using, and you can basically try and copy that, but most of the times you're gonna see awakened equips, and that's like just it's hard to get those at good rolls. Okay, so for me, for example, I know what equips I want to put on Gogeta, but a thing you need to consider is, because I'm building a melee type team, that means I want to do strike damage, so that means I want to focus on my strike attack as much as possible. So I want to give all of these guys, maybe this guy I want to give him some defensive stuff, but for example, for this guy, for Ultra Gogeta, I know this has a really good slot for base strike. We have 33%. I have some key recovery and some blast defense, but just for that strike I'm gonna use this one because I know it's like really powerful. Then I have this one, which is like a really good equipment. It's giving him 18% to strike. Then we have 11, almost 12% to strike defense and blast defense. And then we have some base health, which is always good. And then some extra strike attack, you know, so we get double buffs for strike attack, we get some health, some defense. This is also really good equipment. In my case, I usually equip this one because I get double strike attack and special move damage. And now I have my Gogeta with a lot of strike attack, which is what I want, and some special move damage because he gets a lot of blue cards when his gauge is filled up. You also have to like take in consideration what your units have in their kit. For example, if they draw blue cards, then you wanna help them out and give them equipments that boost up the blue card damage. Another really solid option for this unit is this equipment. Unfortunately, I did not farm up this to a Z. I cannot get good slots on it, but right now I'm gonna keep this one because I have double strike attack and special move damage, and I think Ultra Gogeta in my case benefits more from this equipment than the other one. Also, another thing to note, for every equipment you get every single thing. If you equip it in first slot, that doesn't mean you only get the first slot, okay? So if I have this equipment in any slot, 1, 2 or 3, I'm gonna get everything. Same from this one, I'm getting everything. Same for this one, I'm getting every single thing that's in there. So basically whatever you equip, it's like a total of everything into that character. Basically it's built into his stats. Okay, then you wanna go ahead and do the same for each single unit. This one again, he's a strike based unit, but I know he's also pretty defensive, so I can give him something like this, which is health restoration, base blast defense and base strike defense. This is gonna help a lot with his, like, he restores health when he pops main, and he's gonna tank more. I can give him this one, who's also like defensive and give us some base critical. I can give him this one if I have more rolls. This one right now is equipped on Gogeta, so I cannot use him. You can see the little yellow character up there. If I want to use it, it's gonna tell me this is equipped on another character, blah blah blah. If you say yes, it's gonna move it from Gogeta to Vegeta. But I know 100% for sure that I want to keep it on Gogeta, so I'm gonna find another option for Vegeta. I can use this one. This is also double defense and some blast attack. So again, it's not bad to have like other stats on there, but you want to focus on strike. And then for Super Vegeta we have his Platinum equip. Only he can use this equipment. This is not like with big rolls and numbers and stuff like that, but this one is a really good equipment when you use him on a Fusion Warrior team. So he gets 5% to blast, not base blast, to blast attack, which is like a pure equipment, which is basically, it gives you way more than when they say base, okay? So blast attack, 5% for each Tag Fusion Warrior, that includes himself. Then base strike and blast defense for each Tag Fusion Warrior. So basically you time this by 3, you time this by 3, and then this one you get 8% on strike attack for 15 timer counts when changing cover. That's kind of like meh. And then you get ultimate damage, which is really good to have on units that have ultimates. As I said, I don't have this equipped at really high rolls, but I'm gonna equip him on him because I know it's a good one. And for example, for Gogeta Super Saiyan 4, you have his plat. Basically this transforms him into another character. LF units sometimes get those platinum equips that are meant just for them, like Cell just got one, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta has this one, and they're like literally broken. They transform your unit from a mid or bad unit into a Z tier unit. So this is like a must on Gogeta. If you don't have this equipment, there's no point in running this Gogeta. Then I have this one, which I know because he's like a defensive unit, I want to give him some health, and then he can do a lot of damage with his special move, blue card and ultimate. So I'm gonna use this one. And then this is another plat, but this is like for GT, for the whole tag. That means you can still use him on him. It gives health restoration, we have double defense and some base strike attack. This is perfect because he's a defense type and he wants that. You can also put this on him. We have some defense and both attacks, but I'd rather have more defense than blast attack. And on the other units, let's see, maybe I'll bring this guy into battle. So I'm gonna put this equipment on him. Let's see, this one, key recovery, special move and blast attack. That's good. I'm gonna use this one. And I'm gonna put this one. Even though this one can be a higher roll, still it gives pretty good stats. And then on these two, I know for sure I'm not bringing them into battle, so I don't really care. I'm just gonna put the most shiny equipments I have, basically Z's and Z pluses. And yeah, basically you're done with equipments right now. What you can do right now, you can hop into PvP, play some matches, test your team. If you're not happy with some of the units or some of the things you see they like work dodgy or you don't like it, swap some things out. But for example, for this team, I think this is a pretty good setup for what I have in my box right now. I wouldn't change anything. This is one of like my main teams I use anyway. So yeah, let me give you a quick recap. First off, decide what tag you wanna use, find all the units, focus on melee or range type, then you can put support and defense type alongside those units. Make sure you read their Z abilities so you know they're buffing whatever. If you choose melee, make sure they're buffing strike a lot. If you choose range type, make sure they're buffing blast. Once you're happy with your build, you can have all the colors. You can have just 3 colors, you can have just 2 colors, you can have just 1 color depending on the meta and on the team. And once you're happy with all of that, make sure you equip the right equips. Use every single slot, don't leave empty slots. If you don't have Z's, use S equips. If you don't have S, use A. And if you don't have A, start farming up some equipments because they're really important, yeah? But basically you wanna always try and farm up S equipments at least. And yeah, once you have all this done, as I said, hop into PvP, play some matches, see if you like the team, see if you want to change something out. If you don't like a certain unit, change it out, try something else, experiment, enjoy. And yeah, make sure to use the leader slot properly. And if you have a really good unit that you know you want to throw on a certain team, use the leader slot and put that unit on that specific team and it's gonna work out, okay? So yeah, as a pretty basic explanation, this would be everything you need to know when you start out. Maybe even this is a bit much information, But hey, in time you're gonna get used to it, you're gonna learn exactly what works best. Make sure you always watch other content creators on YouTube and see what teams they have, what equipments they have. Usually when they showcase a unit or a team, they show you the whole team, they show you every equipment, they explain how everything works. So the more you consume content and watch, the more you're gonna learn about this kind of stuff and you're gonna be able to build better teams. Okay, so I hope this helps. If this guide actually does well, I'm gonna make some more in the future. And yeah, let me know if you like this one, give it a like, subscribe. Your feedback is gonna be super valuable to me and I'm gonna appreciate it a lot if you comment, like and subscribe. But yeah, I think that would be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace. I hope this helps, honestly. But yeah, good luck to you guys and thank you again for watching. Bye.